So about 2 years ago, I quit my 9-to-5 job to travel the world, and it completely changed everything for me. Let me tell you, on the other side of completely breaking free of other people's expectations for me, societal standards, and being like, I'm not working for anyone else. I will not work a 9-to-5 for the rest of my life. I want to travel the world. I'm going to take a risk and go do this. I can tell you that there's so much more freedom. There's so much more peace, love, acceptance, gratitude, all of it. Because before this, I was feeling unfulfilled. I was dissatisfied. I was feeling stuck, and also like I want so much more, but I'm scared to do more. I don't know what to do because everyone goes this path and I've never seen anyone outside of me living the way that I want to. And once you finally take that risk and you decide you're just gonna go for it, you're not gonna stay stagnant, you're not going to remain stuck, and you decide to change your life, everything starts working in your favor. At this point, in 2025, I now have over 50 different cities, over 10 different countries under my belt, and I have solo traveled all of it. And I can tell you, as a seasoned solo traveler, I wholeheartedly believe every woman needs to solo travel at some point in her life, because the transformation that happens through solo travel is incredible. At this point in my life, I am richer, smarter, more vibrant, wiser. I own my own business. I live the way I want to. I work probably less than 10 hours a week, if I'm gonna be honest with you. And I'm making more money than I've ever made. I'm not living the way anyone ever expected me to, nor in the way I've been conditioned to. And I also don't see anyone else living the life I want to live, so I'm quite literally curating it for myself. At the end of the day, traveling solo completely transformed who I am. So this is what we're talking about today, why I believe all women should solo travel, and how it transforms your life in the process. It's not the places, the people, or the experiences while traveling that transforms you. It's the fact that you have no choice but to trust yourself. It's the fact that you have no choice but to trust your inner voice, your intuition, to guide you through every little detail. When I tell you that no matter what plan I had, I didn't follow through with a plan unless my intuition told me it was okay, and it kept me safe every time. I remember my first solo travel trip was in Mexico. This is when I was severely depressed. And I was like, I need to go do this thing. I decided I wanted to do a yoga teacher training in Mexico, and I planned out a 2-week trip before my training started. And I was walking down this road around like 10 p.m. I don't know what I was about to go do. I think I was gonna go get some food. And there was, and this is, mind you, I was severely depressed, very suicidal, very out of touch, not good at a single thing except the work I did and just existing, maybe breathing. But I was walking down this road and my intuition was so loudly telling me, do not continue down this path. Do not keep walking this path. Do not go down this dark road. Do not go into the city. And at the time, I didn't listen to my intuition at all. I kept pushing. I kept walking, actually. And then I saw this car drive by of like maybe 15 guys in a Jeep, and like a few of them were popping out of the roof, a few of them their heads out of the side of the window. They had bottles in the car, they're screaming, music so loud, and they see me and they start yelling and catcalling, and I was like, oh, more of this if I continue. And I remember in that moment I was like, okay, I heard that voice, I didn't listen to that voice. Next time I hear it, I'll know to pay attention. So I turned around, went back to my Airbnb, and throughout my travels I continued to strengthen that trust in my inner voice. And that's literally how I built my intuitive power over time, is I just practiced trusting her. I heard the voice once and I was like, okay, noted. I'm not going to question it. I know you're leading me in the right direction. I know you have the best intention for me. And the mistake most of us make is we hear that voice, but we think we know better. We think our mind knows better, and we won't listen to it. And that creates distrust and distortion with the intuition. So yes, everyone has an intuitive voice. 100% you have one. It's just about how are you connecting with that part of yourself, and are you actually listening? And when you're by yourself and you have nothing to rely on except yourself, it's going to get stronger. Your gut sense is going to improve. Your trust in self, your love for self will improve. You will know when something feels wrong and you know to walk away. And you know when something feels right and you're like, oh, more of this. I should be doing more of this. That trust in your body, as you develop the relationship with your own body's communication, it's like seamless. So you don't even have to think about it. Immediately you're like, no to that person, no to that walkway, no to that trip, no to this situation. You know exactly what direction you should be going in, and you don't need to question it. And that's the most beautiful part of all of this, is you actually learn that you don't need anyone else, and you can protect yourself. You can fully care for yourself. Okay, now here's a little concept I want to talk about. I may have talked about the myths between the masculine and the feminine before. The reason that most women are told not to travel alone is it's a fear of safety. It's a fear of protection. And I'm gonna tell you something about a lie that women have been told, is that we need to be protected, that we are weak, that the world is a scary, dark place, and we can't go outside by ourselves. This is all true, yeah. The world is a scary, dark place, and like, people are fucked up. And like, people are really mean to women. But I can tell you, as a woman who has traveled to countless different places by myself, when you remove the myth that you as a woman are not safe in this world, when you remove that myth and you know that you can protect yourself, that you can rely on yourself, that you can care for yourself, that you can trust yourself, when you start to believe that, you actually realize you don't need to be afraid, that you'll know exactly where to go and who to hang out with, and that you don't need someone there, especially a masculine presence, in order for you to feel safe. The way women have been conditioned, we've been conditioned to need a masculine presence in order to feel safe moving forward. This needs to be eradicated from your body. Not because masculine presences are not valuable and wonderful, it's just that it removes your power with self. It removes your autonomy. It removes the ability for you to go somewhere and feel confident, grounded, secure, safe by yourself. It's important you can do that for yourself. How are you going to follow your individual path if you can't even trust yourself in the physical world by yourself? We are not helpless. When you solo travel, you stop waiting for someone to make you feel safe. You become the safety that you've been looking for. You also learn to read people. You learn situational awareness. You learn that your intuition is really strong and she is on your side. You learn when to blend in and when to stand out. And you learn that you are so strong and that you don't need to be afraid of your own strength. And honestly, solo traveling healed me in so many ways. It stripped me of so many fears, so many conditioned beliefs about what I could and could not achieve by myself. It completely eradicated the need for me to feel like I need to be taken care of, like I need someone else there for me. And I'm gonna tell you, it was scary. It was really scary, leaving my family, going to the other side of the world, getting my own place, figuring it out when I don't speak the language, trying to find resources, whether it's food or water or electricity or Wi-Fi, and like literally just having to figure all of it out. You learn a lot through the process. And it's easy when you're doing it with other people, sometimes easier, sometimes more difficult depending on who you're with. But when you find the ability to do it on your own, it's quite literally just like the most invigorating, life-changing, freeing experience ever. And getting into freedom, the expansion that comes when you start to travel the world, it's not even a mental freedom. The energy of recognizing that the whole globe is truly your home. And somebody created the storyline of lands, countries, divisions, governments, laws. Somebody made that shit up. Okay, that's a storyline we all agreed to, that we're gonna have these borders and separations and like we all have different laws and whatnot. It could be one beautiful world and it's like, hey, this is just planet Earth home. Here we are. It's not great, but the energetics of feeling like all of it is your home and all people are your home and anyone can become family, anyone can be trustworthy and loved. It completely expands everything in your physical energetic body and also in the way that you move about the earth and the way that you even view safety on earth. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. Literally 3 days ago, I went to go get keys made because Preetham lost his apartment key. Preetham is who I have a podcast with called Confessions of a Black Sheep. Staying at his apartment right now, actually moving out today. But anyways, he lost his keys. We went to go get new keys made. I told him to go to the gym because I was like, it's gonna take too long and you got a 4-hour gym block. Let me get the keys. So I'm at this shop getting the keys. This guy is making them. His name is Shiva. Great man, kind of. So he's making the keys and then I'm like, oh, I'm 500 rupees short. And then he was like, okay, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, Preetham's like down the street, 8 minutes away. I could get the money from him or I can come back tomorrow. And he was like, let me just drive you to the gym and we'll get the money from him. And I was like, you want me to get on the back of your scooter? I just mentioned 15 minutes ago. And I felt it out, literally took like 30 seconds and I was like, okay, give me a second. And I was like, I acted like I was on the phone, but I was like, how do I feel about this? And I was like, yeah, it's okay. And I was like, yeah, you sure? I was like, yeah. And then I was like, my mom's gonna be pissed if she hears about this, but I was like, it's okay, he's fine. I get on the back of this man's scooter and we drive 8 minutes and it's perfectly fine. Totally safe, all good. But like, if I were to tell my mom this, she'd be like, what the hell are you doing? And also, if I was not able to trust my intuition, just thought of it alone, I'd be like, oh my God, that's so scary. No, I'm not trusting you because you're a man. And like, why would I get on the back of your scooter? Because my intuitive sense actually was like, no, this is actually okay. This will make everyone's life easier. Let's just take this path. But also my intuitive sense, a week ago, I got into an Uber that I paid for on the app. As soon as I sat in the car, man's was so creepy. The vibe was so off. The way he looked at me, I was like, no. I literally was like, no. And I got out of the car. I canceled the Uber. I had to pay, whatever. But the fact is, 3 seconds of sitting in this car, I was like, this is not it. I'm out. So this is what I mean about how our intuitive voice will actually lead us in different directions. And it's like the difference in my body of like getting in these different vehicles with these different men and how it feels, and also me recognizing one is okay and one is not. All of this came through practice. All of this comes from me being able to trust my intuition. In the beginning, it's really scary. Eventually, you get a hang of it. Now, am I telling you to quit your job and travel the world? No. There's options. You have options, okay? Allow freedom in your life, allow flow. How I actually started, I took a 3-week break from work. I said, I will not come in for 3 weeks. I don't care what you do. I literally will not be here. You can assign me work. You can try to email me. You can text me. I will not respond. This is a boundary I made with my work. And I will tell you, when I got back from my trip, they had actually changed the agreement for all employees moving forward that nobody can take a 3-week break from work. But I still did it before that, okay? Like, you gotta break the rules for them to figure out we'd never want someone to break that rule again, okay? So moving forwards, no one else can do that, but that's fine. Like, we live and we learn, okay? They learned. After that 3-week break, I saved up money for 9 months. I went and I lived with my parents, saved as much money as I could, until I was like, I have enough money to sustain a life for about 8 months with no job anywhere in the world. And then I quit my job and I was like, I'm out of here. Don't call me back, please. And thank you. Goodbye. And that's how I quit my job to travel the world. I saved up a shit ton of money and then I went and I traveled. And then as I'm traveling, I was like, I want to learn. I want information. I just want to follow my heart. I want to do my thing. I had no concerns about finances. I had no concerns about anything. And I allowed full freedom and I allowed myself to actually go on the pathways that were calling to me. I ended up getting trainings in Reiki, in shamanism, in Ayurveda. I got certifications, I went to coaching programs, I did whatever my heart wanted. And I literally got trained by different women around the world in all of the things I know now. And now I'm developing my own stuff. And actually during my travels is when I had my business ideas. You could see back from years ago, I had business plans. The exact same thing I am doing now, I wrote out while I was solo traveling with no resources, nothing to show for it. 2 years later, I started a business, implementing all of those ideas, all of the inspiration, all of the creativity I had gathered over time. Nothing happens like this unless you start aligning your path energetically. But in order to align your path energetically, you have to just slowly trudge through a little bit of shit. In order to get out of something, it takes more effort than once you're in it. Now that I'm in this space of me creating and building and like just living the way that I am, I've already spent years investing in myself energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, understanding how I function and how the world around me functions, and also building a life that feels good to me. So now things move like this if I let them. In the beginning, it felt like a battle. This is not to say it's going to be easy and you can do whatever as soon as you put your mind to it, but you got to put your mind to it and stick to it. I was preparing for so long, almost a year, before I actually made the move. If you decide you want something, make the decision, go on that path, go live your life. If you want to travel the world, if you want to quit your job and just go live freely, plan for it. Make a plan and make it happen. Stop making excuses. I'm so sick of all these people sometimes in my Instagram comments being like, oh, your daddy pays for it. Or, oh, you must have a lot of money. And I'm just like, no, bitch. I fucking worked really hard and I saved a lot of money and then I took risks. And I actually got into debt in the process, and then I paid off the debt, and then now I'm living how I want to. And it's like, what the fuck do you want from me? Go do it for yourself. That's all I gotta say. If you got questions, comments, or concerns, drop them in the comments, and I would love to see them. I would also love feedback. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Take care.